Good evening and welcome to the Elyria City Council Community Development Committee meeting for Monday, June 9th, 2025. We have 3 items on this evening's agenda. The first being the matter of approval of the meeting minutes from the community development meetings as circulated from May 27th, 2025. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Mitchell,
Second.
second by Mr. Callahan.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And also, just for the record, Mr. Oswald did notify the clerk's office of his absence this evening. Item number 2, due to a business conflict of interest, Councilwoman Mitchell will conduct this portion of the meeting, and then I'll return for agenda item number 3.
Good evening, everyone. The next item on the agenda is the matter of authorizing the final plat for Ridgewater Subdivision, Phase 7. Mr. Yost, did you want to come up and speak?
Bob Yost, 260 South Logan. This is the final and last phase of Ridgewater, consisting of, I believe, 44 lots that are left. It's been paved. We're putting electric in, and the gas company's going to be in a couple weeks. We should be ready to sell lots, I would think, in 30 days. And Mr. Snyder's happy. I'm pretty sure he is.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the committee for Mr. Yost? From anyone on the panel? Mrs. Zaworka?
Thank you, through the chair. Mr. Yost, does that street, I'm trying to read the name on this street, does that go through to
It does.
Bethesda?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah. Connects to Bethesda.
Potomac and Bethesda?
Potomac.
Potomac,
Yeah,
thank you.
Potomac.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Yost.
Thank you.
Seeing none, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of accepting the final plat for Ridgewater Subdivision Phase 7, and this is an ordinance authorizing the approval of the said final plat. The plat was approved by Planning Commission on June 3rd, 2025, with no conditions. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Mr. Callahan, second by Mr. Lippian. Are there any other discussions or questions?
Question on the motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And then, Madam Chair? Madam Chair? I'll also have to recuse myself from this item due to potential conflict. Yes.
And moving on to agenda item number 3, which is the matter of a rezoning request of 9 parcels on William Street and Sumner Street from residential to household and heavy industrial to LI light industrial. And this was referred by Rodney Hilton of Express Asphalt Solutions, and the matter was passed by Planning Commission on 6/3/2025. Mr. Hilton, would you like to come up and talk on behalf of the rezoning request?
Rodney Hilton, 131 Williams Street. Looking to get 9 parcels rezoned. 6 was residential to household. 3 is from heavy industrial to light industrial for all of them.
Okay, very good. Any questions from the panel or council members? Mrs. Sawerko?
Thank you, through the chair. Is most of your traffic going to use Williams to Buckeye? Or are you going to use the residential piece of
No, my traffic is probably going to go to Sumner Street and Buckeye. You know, our trucks consist of like 1,500s, 2,500, and 3,500 trucks. We don't have no, you know, large semi-trucks carrying stuff like that. You know, we're a service-based asphalt company, you know what I mean? We go and, to the customer, you know what I mean? And we pull our trailers and stuff like that.
So, through the chair, so you're going to be using Buckeye, or you're going to be using Sumner and William Street?
We'll be using Sumner, because that's the exit for our gate.
Thank you.
Yes.
Any other questions or concerns? And this is going to be mostly for like your equipment storage? and
Yes,
things
yes,
of
yes,
that
yeah,
nature?
it's for my equipment storage and trucks and stuff like that inside the fenced-in area.
Okay, there won't be any like, 'cause asphalt can be.
No,
smelly.
no, no,
There'll
not
be
at all.
no odor or anything like that?
No, we don't bring anything back to the yard.
Okay, thank you.
We
for
actually go
clarifying.
to the plant and get it and then take it to wherever we're at to, you know, to patch roads or whatever case, whatever job we have that day.
Perfect, thank you. Anyone else on the panel or council members? Staff? Mr. Schoenig, did you have anything on this one?
Thank you, through you. Excuse me. This matter was brought forth before. Previously, there was some technical errors. That's why it's being brought back to you, just for a point of clarification. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, if there's no further discussion, I'll read the committee report. We've considered the matter of a request, sorry, let me restart. We have considered the matter of a request for rezoning of 9 parcels at 131 William Street from residential to household, RTH, and heavy industrial, HI, to light industrial district, LI. Legislation be drawn authorizing an ordinance the said rezoning request. The matter was approved by Planning Commission on June 2nd, 2025, with no conditions. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
It was actually June 3rd for the record. Moved by Mrs. Mitchell,
Second.
second by Mr. Callahan.
Question?
Question's been called. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. If there's no further business to come before community development, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Mitchell,
Second.
second by Mr. Callahan.
Question?
Question's been called. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And Mr. Tolet can take over. We do not have a joint committee this evening.
At this time, we'll call finance to order. First item on the agenda is the matter of approval of meeting minutes from the Finance Committee meeting on May 27th as circulated. It was passed out on May 30th. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded.
Question?
Question's been called. All in favor, use the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is number 2, the matter of the transfer of parcels 0626, 056, 000, 017, 0624, 085, 102, 018, also 0624, 085, 102, 019, and 06, 0624-085-102-020 from the City of Elyria to the Elyria Community Improvement Corporation. Mayor Brubaker.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The last three parcels, 18, 19, and 20, those are three small parcels over on Lowell Street. They're basically the old way station parcels. There is a gentleman who owns property adjacent to that that is interested in purchasing that. So that's what those three are. The very first one on there, 017, is the property of the old Palmcrest East nursing home here at the corner of 3rd and West. We have an individual that is a former Elyria resident that would like to purchase that property. He'll be at the CIC meeting on Thursday. His goal is, he's done some research on the house that was there prior to Palmcrest, and he wants to build a replica of that and make it a 4 or 5 unit apartment complex. He has the finances to do that. He's done some work in Mansfield and a place called Hayesville, where he's done very similar projects. He will not need any money from the city, but we are working with him on the purchase of that property. So that's what those 4 parcels are for that we're asking to be transferred to the CIC.
Are there any questions for the mayor? And this request is an emergency, correct?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Sorry, Mr. Schneider?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Mayor Brubaker, you said the lots, the second, or was it the last 3 parcels, 18, 19, and 20, those are on Lowell Street and an adjoining business wants to purchase, or is it a residence?
It's an adjoining business, so it's actually on the north side of Lowell Street, away from the residential houses, and the individual that owns the property on the north side of those lots is interested in purchasing them.
Perfect, thank you.
Mrs. Sawarka?
Through the chair, is Waverly vacated, part of Waverly?
Not that I'm aware of. I can
Okay.
certainly look into it. That's a good question.
We just need to make sure, because that's where the old, the
Yep.
Weights and Measures station was. And I thought that the back half of Waverly was vacated, so maybe we should vacate the front half if he's going to take that property.
We will look into that. Through you, Mr. Chairman, that's a good question, Councilwoman.
Through the chair, also the one on West and
Third.
3rd, it seems to me that there might be an alley that ran back there, too.
Through Mr., there is an alley that runs from behind Life Care over to 3rd Street, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Mrs. Mitchell?
Thank you, Chair. I'm not on this committee. If he's going to build a 4 or 5 unit apartment building, where would the parking be? Where are they anticipating having parking for those people?
I'll defer to Mr. Armstrong for this particular time.
So the parking for the homes over there are off through the alley. So I see it being like the old Palmcrest, he's parking through the alley.
Okay. All right,
And through you,
thank
Mr. Chairman, he did state the way the design would look would be the house would be closer to West Avenue, and then there's also the ability of the parking behind. I believe the units are actually going to be 4 units, and he's going, I can't lift my arm that way. It goes up. But it's going to look like a former house that was there and resemble the historic area that's down there. Mine too.
How long was Palmcrest there? Doesn't that date back to like the 30s? I think. Just
Through you, Mr. Chairman,
only
I'm
Ted
not
would
sure.
know that.
And I'm not going to defer to anybody on council.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I know it dates back to the 70s, for sure.
Oh, I think it goes way before that, Palmcrest, but, okay. Any additional questions? If not, I will read the committee report. We have considered the matter of the transfer of the following parcels: 062605600017, corner of 3rd and West, and 0624085102-018, also 0624085102-019, and 0624085102020, corner of Waverly and Lowell, from the City of Elyria to the Elyria Community Improvement Corp. An ordinance authorizing the transfer of the said parcels. Emergency clause is requested. Could I get a motion?
So moved. Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor, use a voting sign aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 3 on the agenda is the matter of a funding request by Lorraine County Transit for the continuation of the VIA transportation program in the city. Mayor Brubaker.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. So as you're aware, a year ago, working with Lorraine County Transit, Lorraine County Commissioners, particularly Commissioner Moore, last year in July, we kicked off the VIA transportation program here in Elyria. And Commissioner Moore will be here to speak to the numbers on there, but it's been very well received. And that was paid for by a grant that the county commissioners got as a pilot program for the cities of Elyria and Lorraine. We are now at the end of that grant period and the contract period. And Commissioner Moore came to me and Mayor Bradley and Lorraine and asked for a contribution to continue this program. Originally, I had requested $300,000, but Commissioner Moore will speak to that tonight, but that's going to be reduced. And the contract period is July 1 through June 30th. So we could particularly, if so desired by the finance director, and if this committee passes it, we could pay for this over the course of 2 budget cycles, splitting it in half out of a couple different funds. But at this time, Mr. Chairman, with your permission, I'd ask Commissioner Moore to come up, kind of give you some details on the numbers and how it has positively impacted the community and the partnership between the City of Elyria and Lorraine County Transit has worked over the last year. So Commissioner Moore, you want to come up to the microphone?
Good evening, Commissioner Moore. If you could start off, name and address for the record.
Yeah, I am Dave Moore, Lorraine County Commissioner, 226 Middle Avenue, Elyria. Thank you for having me come out tonight. I know the mayor asked to have the transportation director and Karen Perkins to come. They were unavailable. And since this is something I've been working with both mayors, I thought Kevin asked the mayor asked if I could come out. I said, sure. I didn't know there'd be math, so he wants me to talk about numbers. So anyway, I do appreciate you allowing me to speak today, though. This concept of transportation has been pretty much a disaster for 25 years. I was a commissioner in 2001, and that's all they talked about. I come back 20 years later, and that's all they're talking about. Nobody was doing anything. It was a failed system of fixed routes. This county has twice tried to put a tax on the ballot in order to support transit countywide. It fails. But in Elyria and Lorraine, it succeeds. Okay, so when this was approached to us a year and a half ago, Mayor Bradley was trying to create his own little micro. At the same time, we were trying to do a micro similar to Sandusky, but then VIA came to town, and they showed us the program. We embraced it immediately. We got a grant, which does not start until 2027. We had excess funds in our ARPA account, and we actually had some extra money in our grant accounts that we get from the federal government and the state government. And I said, why wait? And so we didn't. We executed this in 90 days. We used a lot of our marketing dollars to promote it. And when we ran those ads in those papers, numbers started to increase. And within 90 days of this kickoff, we knew it was a success. The problem is a lot of these other communities are coming out and reaching out to us, but I'm saying, you know what? You have to participate. We're looking at partnerships. And if you've heard me before when I was here before, I'm always talking about partnerships. And right now, the county, Elyria, and Lorraine, we have formed some very great partnerships. You know, just for example, even today, I mean, I was lucky enough to talk to Jim Miller before I got here. Some of the partnerships between the county and this council and administration is in regards to like the land bank with all the work that you're working on in regards to the empty lots that we've been working on together. With the mall, lots of great things are coming. I'm telling you right now, I know that you had a meeting this week, and then you had one last week. since there's media and we're on tape, but we won't go into too much detail, but some positive things are finally going to be happening there. At the same time, with us working with NOACA, we're taking Route 2 and expanding that to 3 lanes from 611 all the way to the Turnpike, which will make this area booming pretty soon, where we're going to have the access, the road. I mean, the infrastructure is happening, I think, extremely fast for how government moves, okay? And so, and I'm just really proud of how the Port Authority has been working with you guys in regards to even DBR. So I know you had a very successful meeting today. I'm glad that's moving. So you got housing, we got economic development, and then you throw in transit. I think we fixed transit. Now, I did get word from Lorraine that they may not participate, and I had no problem saying that's fine, we'll just do it with Elyria. But that, next thing you know, they came up with money. And Mayor Bradley came in this morning and says, don't worry, we can get you $250. Well, the mayor said he was going to ask for $300. He says, no, you're not paying more than the city of Lorraine. You're not going to pay any more than, you're going to pay the same. But in the meantime, the mayor is also of Lorraine is working with Mercy Hospital to get them to be a partnership. I know we also talked when we were here downtown, the Lorraine County Community College said they stepped up and they said, we would like to participate and be a partner. And I know with the things that we've been doing on with the townships, what we've been trying to do as a commission is to bring everybody to the table, because once you're elected, you all know, it's all about getting things done for the people we represent. And so I do appreciate you allowing me to speak. I think this is one of those success programs City Council can be proud of, because you guys hold the purse strings. And again, I always say this, I was talking to Mr. Armstrong, it's got to be difficult, because all I got to worry about is one vote. I got 3 of us, okay? You guys, I congratulate you on how you guys are getting things done with as many people. It's not easy, and I appreciate it. But really, what we're looking for is partnerships, because this is a success that we can hang our hats on. Now, there's 7 counties, you may have read in the paper, and you may have saw that we're now going to be going to the public to ask for an increase in the sales tax for the sheriff. The sheriff needs some of his funding because it's so short. We found out that 7 other counties have a sales tax just for transportation. We do not. Ours is all grant money, and that's how we operate. So we don't know what the future holds, but we don't want to lose VIA. We really don't, because you guys see them around town. It's not like our fixed routes systems. The fixed routes are empty. VIA is not. Now, you might want to talk to your schools, because I know the mayor of Lorraine is talking to the school, because their schools are very busy, because you got, parents are working, kids are after school, can't pick them up, they get to do sports. It's certain times of the day in the morning you can't use VIA because the kids are using them for school. And I see that here in Elyria right down the road. You see in the morning, you see them picking kids up and dropping them. So there's certain things that are really, I think, you guys should be proud of by supporting this. And I am happy to be partners with you guys on this. I am proud of this program. I know I've talked to the mayor quite a bit about it. I know Mr. Armstrong, we talked about this even before and how do we fix, and it all started with Aldi's, remember? It all started when they moved out of town. And I thought when the mayor came up with the idea, they did a short-term fix. We had this fix. I think it really turned out to be one of the most positive things I believe in this county in years. Like I said, this is something for 25 years we've all known it's been a problem. And I feel this is something that can be fixed, and hopefully you guys will join us in continuing the partnership.
Thank you, Commissioner. Truly appreciate it, and I wholeheartedly support this. One thing that the mayor did say that's also very important, we could break this up over 2 budget cycles. So 125 would come out of 2025, 125 would come out of 2026. And then what fund it came out of would be, I believe, at the discretion of Director Pileski. Is that accurate?
That is. But I think there's really only one fund that we can, maybe 2, but obviously the general fund. But my concern there is that we're already spending more money than we're bringing in. The other is the 0.5% income tax, but we really didn't sell that income tax, transit is part of that income tax. So I will scour the general fund budget and see if I can move 125,000 around or just add 125.
Thank you. Mr. Schneider.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Commissioner Moore, I think this is a great project, and I'm glad it's taken off pretty well. Now, I don't have I'm not clear on like the logistics of how it works. So if someone requests a ride, do they have to stay within like if you live in Elyria, you have to stay within Elyria, or do you go outside of the city limits? I'm not really sure how this
Yeah,
works.
there is a route that's already determined. And, usually you may have to walk a block to that. Unless you're disabled, they'll come to your front to the driveway. And they do have those routes that are determined. We're in the process, we do have like the transition for fixed routes where you can hop on one to go into the other. And that's what they're working on now, is how do we connect to Cleveland? How do we connect to LCC out in, right on the North Ridgeville border? And we're about a block away from Cleveland. So we're working on it with RTA and how to connect that gap. If you think it's local, they can imagine trying to work with Cuyahoga County and their system, okay? And we've been working for 4 years to try to connect that 2-block radius or whatever it is, so we can somehow take our system and use VIA to connect with our fixed route. We want to reevaluate our fixed route system so that it's more efficient, so that maybe we have a fixed route between here and Lorraine. But the main thing is the hospitals, the groceries, your doctors, that's the main thing that we have in each community in Elyria and Lorraine. Now, for example, Lorraine, Amherst was right on the border, okay? We weren't in there. But what we found out within like 2 months, but with the data, this is really a logistic company. They can see the data, who's using it, and all we had to do was move it pretty much 2 blocks into the city where all the doctors were, and because they requested it. And so by doing that tweak, and we found an area that nobody was using it, so we can move and shift. So this can be shifted, this can be moved as the need arises. So if you guys see that there's a need, that like, hey, look, this area is not being serviced, then we can take a look at that, whether it's Elyria Township or whether it's another area,
Mrs. Mitchell, then Mr. Armstrong.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to Mr. Commissioner Moore. This is exciting, and I think that it has been a success. But I've heard, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that people say they take it to the grocery store and they're doing their shopping. They don't automatically come back and get people?
Yeah, well, you have a phone and an app.
So you have to
Then you have to
call it.
recall it, it's $2 there, and then you got to call it, and you can watch it on your phone, on your app, on where they're going to be, how far out they are. So I wouldn't recommend it for ice cream, but anything else that you have, I think it's a very good, the problem is the people that don't have that type of technology, okay? And they're the ones that have to use landlines, and they do. I forget the numbers, it's like 8% of the calls we get are landlines. And the thing is, you have to use a landline to call them and get picked up again. Now, the goal I put on everybody was 10-minute wait. They were at first 10 minutes, but then they got up to about 18, but it sure beats the 2-hour wait times of our fixed route system. And they're continually trying to bring that down, so.
Thank you. And Mr. Chair, if I can, just
Yeah.
one more. Did I understand you to say that people have to walk to a designated
Yes.
area to pick it up? And if you're disabled, you don't. But what about our seniors who may not be disabled, but may have difficulty walking? How does that work?
Same thing, just tell them that you just got to call them up and tell them, pick me up here, and they will come. They actually have ramps too for those that may not have to step up. We're also working on maybe bike racks, which I found interesting, but to me, if you can ride a bike, you don't need a bus, but I guess people will use the bikes when they'll drive one way and then they'll drive back on their bike. So we're working on that, but we do have disability type vans that are designed for that, so.
Thank you.
Mr. Armstrong?
Through you, Chair, I'm not on this committee, but I do have a comment. As the Commissioner said, I also fought for this because all these LAF and transportation needs were heavy. So I'm very proud and highly supportive of this, but I want to remind everybody here of these numbers, just in our city alone. From July 15th until yesterday, 31,878 rides have been accomplished. There are also almost 2,000 active ride users that they actively use this service in our city alone. I see the VIA everywhere in my ward, so I know it's getting used. With the seniors, they're using it for free. With our students, they're using it for $1. So this is very much needed, and I only see it being more used because people are really seeing what it can do. So I'm very proud, and I will support this no matter what, because we need this. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Sawerka?
Through the chair. Thank you, Commissioner. I completely support this. I see the vehicles all around. I think it's a great option, it solved a huge problem. I'm going to put a bug in for something else, though, as far as transportation is concerned. I would love for the commissioners to think about the Greyhound drop-off and pickups. I have said things to the mayor in the past. I have watched people get off the bus in the middle of downtown, and there's nothing for them when they get off. If the Greyhound could maybe be shifted to the mall area, perhaps, once the mall program is settled, at least you're coming, because they're coming off of 90 or the Turnpike, the buses are. To drive to downtown Elyria and drop them off without a shelter or phone, or I'd really like the commissioners to think about that and to maybe think about some alternatives for those people riding the bus. And I'm assuming that they must have enough ridership. The buses are still coming through town. I think they come twice a day, or at least twice a week. So I'd like the commissioners to think about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any additional questions from the committee? If not, I will read the committee report.
Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you.
Okay.
We have considered the matter of a funding request by Lorraine County Transit for the continuation of the VIA transportation program in the city. This funding request is for July 2025 through June 30th, 2026. The amount requested is okay. I'm going to change that then. The amount requested is $250,000. Monies have not been appropriated. An ordinance authorizing the said funding request. Emergency clause is requested. Could I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion's been made and properly seconded.
Call for the question.
Question's been called. All in favor, use the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is number 4, the matter of applying for an urban forestry grant. Director Reardon.
Thank you, Chair, through you. This is a grant through the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, Urban Forestry Grant. What we would like to use this for is to pay for the salary of our city arborist. That is one of the target types for this grant. The ceiling, I guess, on this grant is $100,000. So that would cover salary and benefits. There is no matching requirement. We would have the deadline is August 27th. The estimated award date is the middle of October of this year. We would have 2 years to use the fund. So obviously would be up to, the administration and the mayor, or if that's used all in 1 year or split over 2 years. I don't know how that would look, but those are kind of the specifics of it.
Thank you. Mayor Brubaker.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. These two items are both by way of Macaulay, but as I just shared with the finance director, this is not hiring an additional person.
No.
This is paying for somebody we're already
existing.
paying for, Mr. Hennigan, through this grant.
If, please, going back in the past, this has also been Tim Gallagher and Scott Payne in the past, if I remember correctly. Is that accurate?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, it was Scott Payne and then Mr. Hennigan. Mr. Gallagher was never in that role. He was in
okay.
engineering.
I thought, okay. Are you requesting an emergency clause due to
Through you,
the
Chair.
application deadline?
I don't know that it would have to be. It's August 27th. It's up to you.
Let's do it to be
Okay.
safe, please.
Okay.
I'm sorry, there was Mr. Schneider.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Director Reardon, is this something new, or have we succeeded in receiving funding from this grant in the past, or something similar?
Through you, Chair. I have not seen this grant. I mean, we've received other ODNR grants. I have not seen this one, but I don't believe it's like new.
Okay.
I just somewhat recently started sitting in on the meetings with the mayor, and this came up, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and they kept changing the, deadline as far as when the grant was actually, I guess, going to be released. So I don't believe that it's new.
Great, thanks for bringing it in front of us. We love the
Miss-
non-matching grants.
Mrs. Mitchell?
Thank you, Chair, through you. So I was out doing my streets, getting my streets together, and there was a guy outside in his yard, and I introduced myself, and he said, "Hey, look at my branches. They really need to be cut." It was in the tree lawn. So I called Scott. He went out a couple of days later, took care of it. The resident was happy. So it's very much needed, and it gets used. So
Yes, it
and if we
does.
don't have to pay for it, that's even better. Thank you.
Any additional questions? If not, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of applying for an urban forestry grant through ODNR. These grant funds will be used to help fund the salary of the city arborist. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to apply for and accept the said grant. Emergency clause due to grant deadline. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion's been made and properly seconded.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor, use a voting sign aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is number 5, the matter of applying for a Norfolk Southern Thriving Communities grant. Director Reardon.
Thank you, through you, Chair. This is another grant that came up during one of our weekly meetings with Macaulay, and Thriving Communities Grant through Norfolk Southern. We meet the criteria as far as being located within their network, if you will, and within 30 minutes of a specific, line, I guess. We would like to use this towards the Pocket Park. Ward ceiling is $50,000. I cannot find anywhere, Macaulay could not find anywhere where there's matching dollars, so I believe this is just a grant with no, matching specifications. The deadline is September 1st. The only downfall is it doesn't really say when it's awarded. There was not a lot of specifics as far as ODNR. They give you the exact, we're going to award it, this date. This did not have that, so we don't know the exact award date, but I imagine once we apply, then we'll, get a little bit more information.
Again, do we need to do this as an emergency, just in case you get surprised with something?
Through you, Chair. I was going to say, if we're doing the other one, they're only 4 days apart, so we might as well do this one.
Okay.
Please.
All right. Any questions from the committee? If not, I will read the committee report. We have considered the matter of applying for a Norfolk Southern Thriving Communities grant. These grant funds will be used to help fund the Pocket Park project. An ordinance authorizing the mayor to apply for and accept the said grant. Emergency clause is requested. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor, use a voting sign aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Director Reardon, by the way. Next item on the agenda is the matter of delinquent and final utility accounts approved by the Utility Resolution Board and to be certified to the Lorain County Auditor's Office. Safety Service Director?
Thank you. Through you, Ms. Connor still out of the office, so I'll be able to address these accounts for you. This is this month's list. We met and approved them for referral to council for ultimate referral to the county for certification in the tax lien. So we have a number of accounts there. The bulk of them is the one particular account in the middle there. We do have a meeting scheduled with that property owner to kind of talk through what might be going on and how we might resolve that. But the other accounts are pretty standard, in case you have any questions.
Are there any questions from the committee? Mr. Schneider?
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Director Pianowski, is this a multifamily only report, or did we just lack the residentials other than the sewer and sanitary only?
It's just how it came up this month. So,
Interesting.
yeah, nothing intentional there, just how the ones that came in.
And of course, through you, Mr. Chair, the typical, we have the sewer and sanitary only, about a quarter of them. I'm just making note of that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's all in the same development, I believe, the newer development out there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Sawerka?
Through the chair, have we had this problem with the large biller on this account before, or is this something new?
So I'm not sure if utilities has had that issue, but I've seen that issue in some of their other accounts that I've reviewed in the past and other places I've worked. So we've had some conversations. I've been part of some conversations that suggest that that's almost intentional, using the money elsewhere for other things and then catching up later on. So we're going to talk with them and see if we can get a better understanding and express to them the importance of, keeping up on things. So
Through the chair.
Mrs. Sawerka?
1519 West River, is that the Golden Corral?
correct. Yeah. And so they're going through a transition phase right now. So we've had contact with their attorney for the purposes of trying to get the grass cut, and ultimately we had to get it cut. The city had to cut it. So they're obviously going through a transition period. So we'll see where that goes.
Thank you.
Any additional questions from the committee? If not, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of inactive delinquent public utility accounts, a resolution authorizing said delinquent accounts to be certified to the Lorraine County Auditor's Office as per the attached list. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made, properly seconded.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor, use a voting sign. Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next item on the agenda is number 7, the matter of city property, 2010 Ford F-150 truck, Water Distribution Department, which is unfit for use and to be taken out of service and to be disposed of. Safety Service Director.
Thank you, through you. This truck is noted as a 2010. It's covered in a lot of rust is the description I got, but it needs a couple $1,000s in repairs, which no longer is economical. Those include front struts, front brakes, calipers, power steering lines, carrier bearing, drive shaft. So instead of investing that, we'd like to sell it on gov deals and recover what we can.
Again, 2010 seems like yesterday, and that's 15 years ago. Believable. I'm sorry, are there any questions from the committee? If not, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of finding the city has a 2010 Ford F-150 truck from the Water Distribution Department to be removed from service due to it being no longer fit for use and to dispose of it by the best means possible. A resolution declaring the said truck is unfit for city use. An ordinance authorizing the said truck to be disposed of by the best means possible in accordance with the law. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion's been made and properly seconded.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor, please use the voting sign. Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next item on the agenda, number 8, the matter of city property, 2001 forklift, wastewater department, which is unfit for use and to be taken out of service and to be disposed of. Safety Service Director?
Thank you, through you. Just another item that is, the cost of repairs exceeds the value in doing so. So we've already replaced this with a new forklift, so we'd like to recoup what we can from this one and then funnel it back into the budget, into the general fund.
Awesome. Any questions? If not, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of finding the city has a 2001 Caterpillar forklift from the wastewater pollution control plant to be removed from service due to it being no longer fit for use and to dispose of it by the best means possible. A resolution declaring the said equipment as unfit for city use and an ordinance authorizing the said equipment to be disposed of by the best means possible in accordance with the law. Can I get a motion, please?
So move.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor, use the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is number 9, the matter of amendments to the 2025 Permanent Appropriations Ordinance. Director Pileski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we have just a couple of small ones both for the Parks and Recreation Department. The first one being in the general fund, Parks and Rec Department operating and maintenance, appropriating $3,995, and that's for NOPEC grant monies that need to be appropriated for Ely Square improvements. And the second being in the Finley Trust Fund, operating and maintenance, and appropriating $5,900 for the same reason, NOPEC grant monies for improvements to the Ely Square. And also the discussion we had earlier for $125,000. So it will either show, it's not on the current exhibit, but it will either show up as an addition in miscellaneous, general fund miscellaneous general government, or if I can find somewhere within the budget, there'll be a negative to correspond with moving 125 into that miscellaneous general government, so.
Understood. Thank you very much. Are there any questions for the director? Mr. Schneider.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Director Pileski. I'm just curious, I'm not sure, maybe you or Mayor Brubaker knows the answer to this. On the NOPEC grant monies, do we have a certain time frame where we have to use those, or do they just grant it and it's there? Do you know?
Through Mr. Chairman, when we came in office, there was about $190,000 of almost $400,000 that needed to be spent. That's what we used on the windows. We got reimbursed for those. These two particular items, we are caught up and up to date. I think our next allotment that we have to spend is the end of this year, and then there's some in 26 and 27. So
Thank
this,
you.
we expect to see this in about 2 to 3 weeks from back, deposited directly back to us. And I also just submitted for the work that was done out at Brookdale for the windows and the HVAC out there, another $40,000 to NOPEC for those that will be coming back to the city as well.
Great, thank you.
Any additional questions?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
One more item, as we discussed earlier, the 2026 tax budget will be due to the Lorraine County Budget Commission on July 17th. So rather than have another Finance Committee meeting, we can probably address it at the strategic planning meeting.
On the 30th?
June 30th, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Is that okay with other members of the committee? Okay. Thank you. There's no additional questions. I will read the committee report. We have considered the matter of 2025 permanent appropriation changes, an ordinance authorizing to amend the said permanent appropriations as per the attached. Can I get a motion, please?
So moved.
Motion's been made and properly seconded.
Question?
Question's been called. All in favor, use the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. One house cleaning item. Colleen went through the pending and standing referrals and cleaned out several of them. We are going to eliminate numbers, 5, 6, and 7, 8, 9. We're going to keep number 10, which is the Reeser Point Crossing update. If it's okay with Mrs. Mitchell, I'd like to remove number 11 for the time being. We tabled that. Number 12, I would like to keep on there until we get a more clear picture of what that, which could change with the upcoming state budget. Yes. Number 12, I'm sorry. Number 13, Director Panowski, this is the matter of an agreement with the Street Scan Street. Would you like that left on, or can that be removed?
Through you, no, you can go ahead and remove it. I'll make a new referral because it might be a different company, or we might be working with somebody different once we get to that point, so we'll just start anew.
Okay. Yes, number 3 also can be removed. And then 1 and 2, I would like to leave on as well. And that's it. If there's no more business, I'm sorry. Oh, yes. Yes, please leave number 4 on there. Yes, please. If there's no more business to come before this committee, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion's been made, properly seconded.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor, use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so, all right.
You good?
So we're only leaving those few on.
Yeah,
1, 2,
just a few.
4, 5. Okay.
5 of them.
All right, very good. Thank you.
I talked to the mayor beforehand. What's that?
Don't forget to turn that